The Housing Development Board, or HDB, was made in 1960, shortly after Singapore gained self-government to alleviate the severe housing shortage. When HDB succeeded its predecessor, the Singapore Improvement Trust, it inherited a whole host of problems. The trust and its various building programs had fallen short of its goals, and the housing situation had worsened as the population increased. When the Bukit Ho Swee fire broke out, HDB had the daunting task of rehousing the 16,000 people left homeless by the fire. By February 1962, all the people displaced by the Bukit Ho Swee fire had been successfully relocated due to HDB's efforts. As a result of HDB's sustained efforts, by 1989, more than 80% of the population lived in HDB flats. However, despite all the achievements by HDB, it still has its fair share of problems.
As a multiracial country, it was necessary for all the people of different races to live in harmony with each other. In 1989, the Ethnic Integration Policy, or EIP, was implemented. This outlined the amount of people from one race who could live in a HDB block. This was implemented to stop any one race from grouping together, especially ethnic minorities such as the Malaysians and Indians, which made up 16% and 8% of the resident population respectively. This could give rise to racial tensions and, in the worst case, even riots, which the government desperately wanted to avoid. By making Singaporeans from all races live together, they will be able to experience and learn more about the beliefs and customs of their fellow citizens. As more than 80% of the total population live in HDB flats, it was extremely important for everyone to respect each other's beliefs, customs, and traditions. This would also encourage Singaporeans to have a better relationship with their fellow citizens. By doing so, the government hoped to stop cases of racial conflict, such as the 1964 race riots.
However, this policy is not perfect. For example, a 2012 study by the Wharton School of Business in Pennsylvania, for instance, found that HDB units restricted to the Chinese could be sold for prices that are 5 to 8% higher. Others wondered if the EIP needed tweaking in view of higher rates of inter-ethnic marriages. For example, a Peranakan would be considered a Chinese and would not be eligible to buy a HDB flat if the ethnic quota for Chinese citizens in that block had already been met.
There is one fundamental reason why HDB leases are for 99 years, and that is we need to be fair to future generations. Let me explain. HDB sells you the flat for 99 years. You own it, you can pass it on for 1 or 2 generations. After that, the flat comes back to the state, the government redevelops the land and builds new flats for future generations. This is the only way to recycle the land to ensure that all our descendants can buy new BTO flats of their own. If instead the government sold you the flat on freehold, that means in perpetuity, sooner or later we would run out of land to build new flats for future generations. The owners would pass down the flat to some of their descendants, many generations into the future. Those lucky to have a flat, well, they become flat owners. Those not lucky enough to inherit the property, they will get nothing.
Another worrying issue is the HDB lease. When HDB flats were constructed, every flat was sold with a 99-year lease. According to our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, this was the only way to recycle land so as to allow the government to redevelop it to build new flats for future generations, ensuring that all our descendants could buy BTO flats in the future. He also added that if all the flats were sold on freehold, then sooner or later we would run out of land to build new flats, allowing property owners to pass land on to their descendants, creating an unequal and divided society between those who could afford properties and those who could not. However, this has also caused problems. Many HDB owners got worried when the government made it clear that not all HDB flats would be eligible for the selective en-bloc redevelopment scheme, and the value of their property would fall as their expiry date drew nearer.
As their leases could not be renewed, the prices of the HDB flats dropped, and many were worried that the value of their property would decrease to the point where it was not worth selling off the flat. and many others worried that they could not sell off their flats. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance has assured HDB flat owners still retain their value given their owners' old age. To solve this problem of depreciating property value, the government has introduced some new policies. Unlike the existing selective en bloc redevelopment scheme, which is decided by the HDB, the voluntary early redevelopment scheme will be open to voting. HDB flat owners will get to decide if they want the authorities to take back their apartments for redevelopment at around the 70-year mark of their lease.
If they vote to go ahead, the government will buy back their block of flats to redevelop the place, and the owners may use the money to purchase another flat. Otherwise, they can continue to live in their homes until the lease runs out. Another policy is the new Home Improvement Policy 2, made for aging flats reaching the 60 to 70-year mark of their lease. This is to help older flats get a higher price value when sold and thus allowing more people to buy it. Despite the problems highlighted, the HDB still continues to play an invaluable role in Singapore. It has continued to provide Singapore citizens with quality and affordable housing.